Welcome to r/relationships. Here are 2 more stories of relationship issues. Story number 1. I, female 23, fell hard for a guy, male 25, only to have his ex-girlfriend, 20s female, show up pregnant one morning. How to move on from this? I met a guy through some mutual friends a few weeks ago, and we clicked immediately. We've only known each other for a few weeks, but I could already see myself being with him long term. My last relationship was filled with uncertainty from day one, so I was really excited to be with someone I was sure I wanted to pursue something serious with, and it seemed like he was on the same page as well. We had a large number of things in common. We both felt extremely attracted to each other. Conversation never got stale between us, and I even hit it off with his friends. Things had been going great, as they typically do during the honeymoon phase, until one morning, a few days ago, he stopped replying to my messages. I figured he was just busy, but we had plans to hang out that night, so I asked if he was still planning on coming over. Finally, several hours later, he said he was on his way, but that he couldn't stay long, and that he'd explain when he got there. 2 months ago, he briefly saw this girl for a few months, and they agreed to mutually split up. Well, apparently that morning, the morning of the day he wasn't replying, so he's finding out 2 months after they broke up, she blew up his phone and banged on his door, positive pregnancy test in hand. He told me we can't see each other anymore because he wants to try and see if he can make it work with her, that he might develop feelings for her again if she's around all the time. And having his kid, I can't be mad at him for trying to give his potential kid a normal life. He kept describing her as crazy and psycho, so I just feel bad for him on top of being jealous of her. I've just never really dealt with anything like this. I know that he would rather be with me, and after thinking about it for a few days, now I would rather be with him too. Potential baby and all. But he's made his decision, and I'm trying to respect that, but I can't stop thinking about what could have been. You know how it's easy to walk away from someone that handles things in the wrong way, or seems like a bad person? This guy did everything right from the start, even the fact that he drove 20 miles to my house just to tell me everything in person. My ex who dated me for 3.5 years broke up with me over the phone, so this was a big deal for me, and brought me flowers. We even managed to joke around with each other and share a few laughs for the last time. Now that he's gone, I'm worried this is going to haunt me for a while. I know if she hadn't shown up, we'd likely be making things official by now. If anyone has been through something similar and has advice for moving on, I'd really appreciate it. My love life is starting to feel like a cruel joke. Here's the first comment. My boyfriend found out he was a dad a couple months after we started dating. I was head over heels for him, so I brushed it off like it didn't matter. We're married now. Let me tell you, it matters. We spent so much time talking about this other woman. She's a hot-headed alcoholic. She calls and screws up the vibe on holidays. He feels like he can't stand up to her, or he'll lose visitation. Although that's getting better. He's angry about this, or that comment she made. He has to stay cordial, but I get upset if he's too friendly with her. He spends holidays with them. She is just always in her life. It's hard as heck. On top of that, a good portion of his income goes to child support and other kids' expenses, so he doesn't have money to contribute to our family. Anyway, all that to say, I've been in the position of thinking I could overlook him having a kid at the beginning because of such a strong connection, but I'm here to say it's a huge commitment. Doable if you're up for it, and sometimes even rewarding, but just really intrusive. If you need something to help you move on, think about this psycho ex being part of your relationship moving forward. It's not great. Here's the next comment. Beware of men who describe their ex as crazy or psycho. It's a common way for men to deflect responsibility for their part in past breakups and paint the woman as the villain in the situation. Even if it's true, and she is a difficult person to deal with, it sounds like he was bad-mouthing her to you, while at the same time informing you that he is choosing her over you. Baby, or no baby, that is at best a rude way to break it to you, and at worst it's downright manipulation to position himself as the victim, even as he's dumping you. Either way, he sounds like too much drama, and you deserve better. You can find someone who treats you just as well and doesn't carry such heavy baggage. Here's the next comment. He is crazy and psycho because he left you for someone who is crazy and psycho. You don't know the other girl, but see him for who he is. He is not your soulmate. You don't know him. You just met him and got disappointed. Just understand that your perfect guy slept with psycho and crazy girl. How can you be sorry for someone who disrespects women, disrespects the mother of his child, and then go live with her? Is he a liar or dumb? Be sorry for him, but be happy for yourself. You saved yourself this early. Knowing someone for a few weeks is called getting to know. Here's the next comment. I don't think he's making a bad choice. It's pretty common for people to want to try and make it work in situations like this. With that being said, this is a lot of baggage. If you're looking long term, you're not only having him in your life, but her potentially also. There is way more to this than just him breaking things off with you. If anything, be thankful he is taking the step of separating from you, instead of just expecting you to stick around through this with him. Which may sound appealing to you, but it shouldn't be. This is his baggage, a huge amount of baggage that you should not have a hand in dealing with. Also, have you ever thought that this is a crap ton of stuff and it's overwhelming? Getting to know someone already is overwhelming, and then he had a bomb dropped on him. Maybe he isn't wanting to deal with those two things at once for his own sanity. I'd tell him that if it turns out to not be his, to call you, and you guys can pick up from where you left off. But if it is his, move on. You aren't always going to be prepared for craziness like this. Story number 2. 24-year-old female says, I'm pregnant with my 24-year-old best friend's 26-year-old brother's baby, and I don't know how to tell her. I moved to a new city right before the pandemic hit. The only other person I know who lives here is my childhood best friends, Lee and her brother Liam. Liam had agreed to show me around the city when I first moved here, so we were already talking before everything went into lockdown. A few weeks into the lockdown, Liam asked if I wanted to wait it out at his house, since we both lived alone. His house is much nicer than my apartment, and he has a backyard, so I agreed. I mentioned it to Lee, and she thought it was a great idea. We got drunk one night and ended up sleeping together. We hooked up a few times after that, but I ended up breaking it off. The reason is Lee and I used to also be best friends with Olivia. Liam and Olivia hooked up a few times, and when Liam refused to have anything serious, Olivia didn't take it well. She stopped being friends with Lee, and our friendship group split in two after that. Lee basically made me promise to never do something like what Olivia did. Obviously, I ended up doing the exact same thing, so when the guilt caught up to me, I had to break it off. Liam and I agreed never to mention what happened between us to his sister, because neither of us wanted to hurt her. The problem is 2 weeks ago, I found out I was pregnant. I haven't slept with anyone else, so Liam is definitely the father. We talked about it and came to the mutual decision to keep the baby. I now need to tell Lee, and I don't know how. I really need advice on how to break the news to her. Here's the first comment. Are you like together now? Because there's a world of difference between I've been seeing your brother and I'm pregnant and we are going to be a family versus I've been hooking up with your brother and accidentally got preggers, but it's chill. We are going to co-parent. Here's the next comment. You did not do the same as Olivia. You and Liam split on good terms, and you don't have a problem with Liam or his sister. Olivia struggled with unrequited love and had to distance herself to process it. The fallout of Olivia leaving was painful, but you don't manage your feelings by controlling other people's actions. Your friend making you promise to not have a relationship with her brother was an unhealthy coping mechanism. Now, starting a relationship with a friend's sibling does put the friendship at risk in case of a breakup, but you were willing to take that risk. Don't try to manage your friend's emotions. She's allowed to be upset. She still has to behave decently because you're the mother of her future nephew/niece, and it's best for all involved to behave maturely for the sake of the child. Tell her the news and give her space to process it. Don't try to manage her response. You're pregnant and you don't have the luxury to waste your energy on managing other people. Here's the next comment. Choosing to keep the baby means you are going to have to face this. There isn't a get out of jail free card you can play to make this easy. Just tell her. Try to stress that unlike Olivia, you won't be asking to split the friendship groups. You'll be co-parenting with her brother and won't try to cause a rift between him and her. Will still be her friend if she'll have you and if she'll forgive you for the sneaking and betrayal. Here's the next comment. Lee comes in a way distant fourth in this scenario. You don't even need to tell her right away. The bigger question is, what is your relationship with Liam? Are you trying to make the romance work, or are you just buddies who co-parent? Figure that out first. Here's the next comment. There's not going to be any easy way. I think the best thing you can do is FaceTime her together. Say you got drunk and now you're having a baby together, and for better or worse you won't let it destroy the friendship and will keep it civil, recognizing that you may disagree on a lot of parenting stuff ahead of time, and agree to either compromise or let each other parent in their own way while they are looking after the child without interfering. It would be worth talking to him about how you are going to approach disagreements going forward and how you expect each other to respond to disagreements. Having a strategy is going to help a lot. I think things will be okay though. You have a history of friendship, so likely similar views and established communication. My best advice is to not have any expectations. How he acted as a friend may be wildly different to how he is as a parent, or it may be entirely the same. He may run away when overwhelmed or get sulky. Just take it as it comes and accept each other's responses as they are. Good luck. Thanks for watching.